Welcome back to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being incredibly well-informed. Today, we're diving into something that could really change your whole pregnancy experience. I mean, even before you conceive. A lot of us, we think about nutrition, maybe supplements, planning the nursery, but fitness preparation, that feels like a huge, often missed opportunity. So let's unpack this.
It's fascinating, really, how foundational this preconception time is, especially for exercise. We're talking those key 3 to 6 months before you even start trying. And the research, from groups like ACOG, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, it consistently shows women who get regular moderate exercise then. They just have significantly better outcomes later on. And it's not just about, feeling good.
Okay, you said significantly better outcomes. What does that actually mean? Can you quantify that for us? Are there real measurable health benefits we're talking about?
Oh, absolutely. The data is pretty compelling. For instance, some studies point to a 35% lower risk of preeclampsia for women who are most active before pregnancy. Even being highly active in early pregnancy showed something like an 18% reduction. So, yeah, this isn't just general wellness. It's really setting your body up to handle, the massive demands coming its way. Your heart's going to pump maybe 50% more blood volume. That cardiac output, the amount of blood pumped per minute goes way up. Plus, your core needs to support the baby. Your whole musculoskeletal system adapts. It's literally preparing the foundation.
Wow. That analogy you used before, like training for a marathon, but for 9 months, that really hits home. So, okay, to guide us through this prep, what's the structure? Is there a framework we should be thinking about? And I know the general guideline is 30 minutes of moderate activity, 5 days a week, something like 150 minutes total per week, preconception.
Precisely. Yeah, that 150 minutes is a great target. And to make it maybe a bit simpler, I like to think of it as building 4 foundational pillars: cardiovascular fitness, core stability, pelvic floor strength, and muscular endurance. Each one is pretty crucial. So we can maybe dive into each of those, then talk about how to, weave them together in a week, and also the bigger picture stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's kick off with cardiovascular fitness then. It sounds, basic, right?
Yeah.
But for someone prepping for pregnancy, is just get your heart rate up, or is there more to it?
Yeah, it's definitely deeper than just general heart health. Building that cardio fitness preconception really sets the stage for how well your body handles that huge increase in blood volume and cardiac output during pregnancy. You see, a well-conditioned heart generally means less fatigue, better blood pressure control, just more energy overall through those 9 months.
Right. So for someone listening, what does that actually look like? Are we talking intense gym sessions, or is it more manageable? And what are the common mistakes people make here? How do we avoid them?
Oh, much more manageable. It's really about building a solid aerobic base. So think brisk walking, maybe 30, 45 minutes, or cycling, swimming, maybe some low-impact aerobics. Consistency is the absolute key. Just gradually building up. A common pitfall is definitely going too hard too fast. That just leads to burnout or injury. Another one is maybe sticking to just one thing. Varying it up keeps it interesting and works different muscles. And you mentioned swimming. That one's particularly great. Builds fantastic cardio endurance, super joint friendly, and honestly, getting comfortable with it now, it pays off big time later in pregnancy when other stuff might feel harder.
Okay, that clarifies things nicely. Now, core stability. This one, this feels like where a lot of confusion happens. We've all heard stronger abs mean a better pregnancy. Is that actually true? Or is there a really important distinction we need to make?
Oh, that's such a vital point. Those traditional ab exercises, crunches, sit-ups, holding rigid planks for ages, generally, they're not the best prep for pregnancy. In fact, sometimes they can create too much intra-abdominal pressure, which is kind of the opposite of what you want when your abdominal wall needs to stretch and adapt naturally. That pressure can even contribute to things like diastasis recti, that separation of the abs, which we obviously want to minimize.
Okay. So it's not about that kind of brute strength. What should we focus on instead for that functional support?
Exactly. Not strength in that old school sense. Pregnancy needs abs that can stretch, adapt, and support, not just clamp down hard. What we need is functional core strength, muscles that support the spine and pelvis while you're moving, because your core has to stabilize while other bits are moving, right? That's what pregnancy demands constantly. So focus on exercises that challenge stability through movement. Think modified planks where you lift an arm or leg, bird dogs, dead bugs, maybe Pallof presses. These teach your core to engage and support while the body's in motion. That mimics pregnancy demands way better.
Got it. Okay, next pillar, the pelvic floor. The unsung hero, right? And let's be honest, for many people, especially if they haven't been pregnant? It's kind of abstract. How do we even start connecting with those muscles?
They are absolutely vital, yeah. I mean, professionals often call pelvic floor exercises one of the most vital things for strength, and it's true. These muscles are like a sling, supporting the baby, helping with delivery, and crucial for postpartum recovery. The key to finding them. Imagine trying to stop the flow of urine, then sort of squeeze and lift upwards internally, and this is important, try not to tighten your abs, your butt, or your thighs at the same time. It's subtle. Powerful, but subtle.
Okay, subtle to powerful. Once someone gets that basic contraction down, what's next? How do you progress?
Well, you start with basic Kegels. Maybe hold for 5 seconds, relax for 5, repeat that 10-15 times. Try for, say, 3 sets a day. Then the really important part is integrating them into movement. Like when you do squats, try gently engaging and lifting the pelvic floor as you stand up. Or doing bridge exercises and coordinating that pelvic floor squeeze with lifting your hips, activating your glutes. This teaches them to work as part of the whole core system, which is exactly how they need to function.
That makes so much sense, a much more kind of holistic view. Okay, fourth pillar, muscular endurance. This is different from just pure strength, isn't it? Why is endurance specifically so important for pregnancy?
Precisely, yeah. It's different. And it's key because pregnancy and labor, they are absolutely endurance events. Think about your legs carrying extra weight for months on end, or your back and shoulders adapting to posture changes, and then eventually holding and carrying a baby constantly. So we're not just aiming for like a 1-rep max. We need stamina in those key muscles, glutes, quads, back, even arms, to handle that sustained work without getting totally wiped out.
Right. So that means maybe higher reps, lighter weights? Is that the approach?
Generally, yeah. Think higher rep ranges, maybe 12 to 20 reps instead of those really heavy low rep sets. We want to build endurance in the legs for carrying weight, the back and shoulders for posture, and yeah, definitely the arms for carrying the baby and all that gear later.
Okay. We've broken down these 4 pillars: cardiovascular, core stability, pelvic floor, muscular endurance. But the big question for you listening is, how does this all actually fit together, like in a real week? What does that look like?
Right, let's map out a sample week. And remember, pelvic floor work is something you'd sprinkle throughout your day, not just in one slot. So maybe Monday, 45 minutes of cardio, brisk walk, bike ride, whatever you like. Tuesday could be functional strength, squats, modified deadlifts, rows, shoulder work, maybe 2-3 sets, aiming for around 15 reps.
And you're sneaking in those pelvic floor exercises during breaks or transitions maybe.
Spot on, exactly. Wednesday, maybe some yoga or Pilates, focusing specifically on that core and pelvic floor connection. Thursday, another cardio day perhaps, swimming like we talked about. Friday, strength again, but maybe focusing on different movements than Tuesday. Then the weekend. Maybe one active recovery day, like a gentle walk or stretch, and one longer fun activity, like a hike, if you enjoy that.
That sounds really comprehensive. But let's be real. Life gets busy. What if someone just can't hit all those sessions? Are there like absolute non-negotiables? And how does this change for different people? Say, someone super fit, CrossFit, marathons versus someone just starting out.
Great question. If you can't hit everything, I'd say the non-negotiables are consistent pelvic floor work daily. Definitely try for at least 3 cardio sessions and 2 strength sessions a week, even if they're shorter. Honestly, consistency beats intensity here every single time. And individualization. Oh yeah, absolutely crucial. For those already intensely fit marathon runners, high-intensity training folks, the advice is often, surprisingly, to actually scale back the intensity a bit. HIIT is okay, but maybe limit it, like 1 session a week instead of 3. The reason? Really extreme exercise can sometimes mess with hormonal balance and ovulation. It's about shifting from peak performance mode to more of a fertility supportive mode.
Wow, that's a big mindset shift for some people. What about the other end of the spectrum? Someone who's currently pretty sedentary. This might all sound overwhelming.
Yeah, totally understandable. But for sedentary individuals, this is actually an amazing opportunity to build those foundational habits. Start small. Really small. Even 15-20 minutes of walking each day is huge. Add in some basic bodyweight stuff, wall push-ups, chair squats, just simple core breathing exercises. The goal initially is just getting movement habits going and improving that mind-body connection, that awareness.
And what about women dealing with specific health conditions, like PCOS or thyroid issues?
Ah, yes. Those women often stand to benefit the most, actually, but they absolutely need an individualized plan, ideally worked out with their doctor or healthcare provider. Exercise can really help with things like insulin sensitivity and hormone regulation in PCOS, or supporting metabolism with thyroid conditions. It's definitely about finding modified approaches that work for them, not avoiding exercise altogether.
Okay, this feels like a significant commitment. What about timing? How far ahead should someone ideally start this kind of prep? And are there any specific activities they should be maybe a bit cautious about during this preconception phase?
Ideally, aim for 3 to 6 months before you plan to start trying to conceive. That gives your body good time to adapt, build strength, establish those habits. But honestly, it's truly never too late to start. Even if you're already trying, bringing in appropriate exercise can still offer real benefits. As for activities to be cautious with preconception, well, it's generally more lenient than during pregnancy itself, but I'd probably advise caution with things like super heavy barbell squats or deadlifts right at your maximum limit just because of the high core pressure, and maybe activities with a significant risk of falling or taking a direct hit to the abdomen. Just common sense, really.
What about things like hot yoga? Is that okay before conception?
That's a common question. There's some thought that excessive heat exposure might potentially affect fertility, for both partners, actually. So for things like hot yoga, maybe switch to regular temperature yoga during this specific time. You still get all the amazing benefits of the poses and breathing, just without that extreme heat factor.
All right, makes sense. And this isn't just about one person, is it? It's often a journey for a couple. How can male partners get involved and support this? Physically, emotionally?
I'm so glad you asked that. Partner support is huge. First off, partners can totally join in. Exercising together can be great for motivation and just sharing the experience. Second, just understanding that their partner's routine might be changing and why. And interestingly, male fertility also benefits from regular, moderate exercise. It can improve sperm quality, testosterone levels. Though, just like for women, excessive, intense exercise can actually have the opposite effect for men, too. So moderation is key there as well.
Okay, so it's really about that mutual support, understanding it's a shared goal, even if the physical demands differ. How should someone track progress here? Is it just about reps and miles, or is there more to it?
Definitely more to it. Holistic tracking is really valuable. Sure, you can track the physical stuff, but also pay attention to your energy levels. How's your sleep quality? Your mood? Even things like cycle regularity can be indicators. Often, the most important progress is noticing stuff like, hey, I have more energy during the day, or my back doesn't ache after standing. Those functional improvements are what translate directly into feeling better and being more resilient during pregnancy.
That's a great perspective. And what about fueling all this? Any quick tips on nutrition or supplements around this fitness routine?
Yeah, good nutrition timing helps. Generally, having a balanced meal or snack something with carbs and protein maybe 1 to 2 hours before you exercise is good, and after. Focus on recovery foods. Again, protein, healthy fats, complex carbs help support muscle repair and hormone production. Supplements, well, that's always best discussed with your doctor or healthcare provider, but common ones often considered are vitamin D for bone health, omega-3s maybe for inflammation, and definitely folic acid for neural tube development. But my approach is always food first, if possible.
Food first, got it. Okay, so bringing this all together, what does this mean for some of the common myths out there about exercise and fertility? What are we debunking today?
Okay, myth-busting time.
Yeah.
Biggest one. Probably that you need to exercise really intensively to see benefits. Honestly, more is not always better when fertility is the goal. It's about appropriate, consistent activity. Another myth is that doing specific exercises will somehow guarantee you conceive faster. Exercise supports your overall health, which supports fertility, but it's not a magic bullet. And maybe the most damaging myth, that you should stop all exercise the minute you start trying to conceive.
Oh, yeah, I hear that one constantly. Is that just completely wrong?
Completely wrong and potentially harmful. There was a big meta-analysis, looked at over 2,000 women. It showed that continuing consistent, appropriate exercise, think aerobic and moderate strength, maybe 3-4 days a week throughout pregnancy, it was not linked to any increased risk of preterm birth. Continuing is beneficial, actually.
Wow, that's a massive relief for so many people, I bet. And thinking about the emotional side, trying to conceive can be such a roller coaster. What role does exercise play in mental well-being here?
Oh, it's absolutely crucial. We know physical activity can be a really important factor in preventing depressive disorders. Establishing that regular exercise habit during preconception helps build coping mechanisms. It provides a healthy outlet for stress. And that's just invaluable when you're navigating the inevitable emotional ups and downs of the fertility journey.
That makes total sense. And looking even further ahead, postpartum recovery. Does getting fit before pregnancy actually help with bouncing back afterwards?
Absolutely. It makes a huge difference. Women who are consistently active before and during pregnancy generally find the transition back to fitness postpartum much smoother. They've already got that cardiovascular base, that core awareness, those movement patterns established. it just makes the return to activity significantly more straightforward. So my most important advice for you listening, really just start where you are, not where you think you should be. Focus on building habits that feel sustainable for you. Listen to your body. Be patient with the process. Remember, you're making this incredible investment in your own health, yes, but also in your future child's health. And for partners, be involved, be understanding, celebrate the wins together no matter how small they seem. If we zoom out, I think we're finally starting to really get that pregnancy doesn't just begin at conception. It truly starts with this preparation phase.
That's such a powerful way to frame it. And remember, everyone listening, your journey is absolutely unique to you. Don't hesitate to reach out to qualified professionals, exercise physiologists, pelvic floor physios, your own healthcare provider who understands preconception care. Because this preparation, it's not just about getting ready for pregnancy. It's about building strength, endurance, and resilience for parenthood itself in ways you might not even realize yet. It's truly an investment that pays dividends long term.